Morning, everyone. Just giving a minute or two. Hello, welcome back, Lorenzo. How's it, Sephora? Morning. Interesting day we had yesterday. Well, evening, really. Morning, morning, morning. In a few more seconds, we'll get started. Yeah, oh yeah, just going to start on that. Great minds think alike, Tony. Just about to start on that. Okay, that's past, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're in there, Charlotte. Remember, I was getting a bit of a cluck yesterday, and it looks like just as bloody well. You asked me where I think it's going to go. Well, it didn't go the way I thought. The dollar came off. Powell was fairly dovish, and as a result of it, well, as you know, the shares went soaring and the dollar went south big time. That's why I say when you get these fundamentals, it's not just which guesses how it's going to come out, how it's going to be interpreted, and the extent of how it's going to be interpreted. Sorry, just let these guys in just a second. Yeah, right. It looks like the odds were increasing on 0.5% coming up next month instead of 0.75%. But look at the market's reaction to it. I mean, the NAS went up 500 points on that. So it's not just guessing the reaction, but the extent of it. And it was just shows the nerves and skittishness out there amongst the traders that it can have such a remarkable move on, quite frankly, it's okay stuff, but it's you know what I mean. It's not phenomenally. It's not as if they're going to say, God, that's we're on such a great track now, we might not even interest rates at all, etc. So because of the skittishness, because there's nerves out there, the overreaction is quite something, negative or positive, and that's why I said be careful. We had a few fundies coming out earlier on, had some interesting effects, nothing major. Then Powell comes to the chair, and as I say, be very careful. And it's just as well. Hey, Mike, remember I talked about the euro dollar yesterday? Okay, that's fine. I even put out my QT group, suggest move stop down to euro dollar to entry just in case. I hope the guys in it there did just that, because they wouldn't have made any money, but more to the point, they wouldn't have lost anything, because if they hadn't moved it, they would look what happened. It went shooting up. So yeah, they'd have been stopped out, and that would have been the end of that. So as I say, you need to have that. I'm going to put it on for you now. Actually, just take a second. Put it on for you now. This is the economic calendar. I keep mentioning it is filtered, but you might add a few others to it. It's up to you. I've automatically filtered. Not automatic. I have filtered it for what I think are the more important ones, and that's why I'll just please put. But on group detail.
Okay, investing, investing.com story, economic calendar.
Oh, you're asking me, so I thought okay, fair enough. Okay, yes, economic calendar. I just copy and paste it for you. Just keep it there and check it out, because the US, they're all important, but the US is particularly important. And there's a classic example why I was clucking yesterday, not being a Rambo, and looks like the clucking wasn't a bad idea. I mean, I'd have been highly fed up by clucks, and it went exactly the opposite direction. but that would be more luck than judgment, and we'd all be swimming in the stuff. But yeah, be careful, because, as I say, the unknowns are so huge that you don't know how. The major thing is how and the extent of the reaction, and that can't be predicted until afterwards. Well, there you are then, you see. That's what I say. When I put out, suggest modify stop losses for a reason. And if you want to take the gamble not to do it because you don't want to get stopped out, because you want a bigger profit, that, of course, is your choice. But yeah, and that's what happens, yeah. Okay, so, well, anyway, Karen, you go back to yourself there. You need to keep an eye on that, because, as I say, that is completely outside your control. You can look at the charts till you're blue in the face. If Fundy comes in, that doesn't cut it. Yeah, what else can I say? Okay. Right, okay. Well, there you are. Some stopped out in the profit. Well, there you are then. That's the whole point. Modified. Some guys modified. That's why I have a group WhatsApp. And, well, they would have saved the bacon on those areas. I did the same myself, and I didn't really have a problem, as it turns out. Had my stops in order, and got stopped in a couple. One slightly in profit, the other one slightly more in profit. Not much, but it would have been a different story. Okay, Anne-Marie. So there's a classic, guys, a classic area of learning to keep an eye on that calendar. While I'm at it, I'm going to put the dollar index up for you as well. These two are very important. So I'll just copy and paste that for you as well, because there's a couple of new names on there. Don't recognize, so they can do that. So copy and paste, keep it handy. You want to know what's happened to the dollar, and you want to know what's happening on the calendar. Right, we've got a couple more coming up today, and of course we've got that non-farms coming out tomorrow. So I think it's going to be a bit skittish going forward. Okay, so in future, keep an eye on what Powell does. If he's speaking, be very circumspect. Okay, a couple of trade ideas we talked about. Was asked, I said, technically, I totally agree, but I'm not going for it as a Powell. And it turns out it was the correct decision. I don't know how much is the, I think Aussie's a bit recovering a bit. I think more of it's to do with the Japan is more the other side than the Japan itself. But it's yeah, interesting. What I was going to say. Okay, now if you look at the euro dollar now, on the technical basis, I've got it in front of you there. It's a buy. Okay, would anybody want to be buying it now? Probably not. The DXY, you've got that now. It's just above 105. Will it come back to that? It could well do that. Will it find a bottom? In my opinion, it's getting towards the bottom. I think a lot of that is a bit of overreaction, and I think the dollar might gain some strength around the 105 plus mark. Okay, so the good news coming up is we might get some decent bargains now. Whether we jump in them now or wait a bit, probably depends how aggressive you are in your trading. But the major thing is setting up for some possible bargains coming up, where if you did copy it, you get your money back basically, and maybe more than that. Actually, come out quite well from it. Okay, so there it is. Okay, anything to discuss other than that? I just want to mention, might as well add it there. Look at the wrong one, the economic calendar. Yeah, just want to mention there. Euro German manufacturing is coming out at 5 to 11. It's not that powerful, just be aware of it. 11:30 and half past 11, sorry, as the Purchasing Managers Index coming out for the GBP, for the UK. Okay, now we'll go back to the States again. What do they call it? PC, the Personal Consumption Expenditure. Quite important, coming out up as 3, and the weekly jobless claims very important, coming out up as 3, and of course the manufacturing PMI coming out again at 5. So 3 fundamentals coming out, not as powerful as at non-farms with Powell speaking, but they're there to be kept an eye on. You've all got the calendar now, just be aware of it. Okay, very frustrating, very irritating when you do get these fundies, because it makes it very difficult to know how to trade it. And sometimes you think, well, sod it, I'm not going to, because, yeah, basically, it's guesswork. It's a pure gamble. You might be lucky, you might not. There's virtually no skill involved. Yeah. If you go the right way, you're not a hero, you're lucky. If you went the wrong way, you're not an idiot, you're unlucky. Same sort of principle. Okay. No, absolutely not. Quite frankly, so pleased you asked that question, actually. I'm not being polite, I really mean it. This is a mistake we all make. We're all trying to glean something we can say we can take advantage of this, like a no-brainer, if you like. No, I can honestly tell from quite a lot of experience, indicating for nothing until it arrives. The figures come out, we don't know. We could lead up and have fun bets. We used to do it when we were in the office, the mentors together. We used to have a fun bet, but it's a flick of a coin. And then, not only that, is the reaction. Will it be over the top or underestimated? I've seen some big differences coming up in Farm Peril. Not what I expected. Not much reaction. Other times, a little bit different and a big reaction. Depends on the nerves of skittishness out there. I'm saying right now, there's a lot of nerves and a lot of skittishness out there. So you probably will get a bit over the top reaction, to be honest. But what that's going to be, how we can have indication, trust me from experience, it's just that old Clint Eastwood thing. Remember Dirty Harry said, well, do you feel lucky, punk, or do you? When we put together that guy. I'm not sure if I had 6 or 5. Do you feel lucky or not when you're about to pull the trigger? Well, that's just bad. Do you feel lucky or not? So, yeah, to answer your question, Gerard. Okay.
Maryland's grandson Drake has just admitted to attempting to kill
I'm just going to mutuals, a bit of background there.
You know my heart,
There we are. Good, well done, Jared. Probably the best thing to do. Okay, yeah, be out when everything comes. You'll kick yourself if it went your way and you took your profit at 10, you could have made 50. I'd rather you did that than hold on and take a smack. Look at this, look at this. Right, I presume you're saying the short because it's gone up so much. Other markets overcooked. Do we get a bit of a pullback? I'm inclined to agree with you. To be honest, I am inclined to agree with you. But no more than I just think it's completely overbought. We're not out of the woods yet. There's still major debt problems out there. We're slightly on track. It takes a long time for these interest rates to filter into the economy. And I think it's overcooked. I think it's going to be some sellers and quite a bit of profit taking. A pullback. I do actually think I agree on that. Yep, so the monthly, the monthly if you like. Yep. Well spotted, yep, weekly as well. Wise to look at the others, yeah. And the thing is, you don't have to have too wide a stop. Probably up here somewhere, up like that. 250, it's still quite a lot, 250 pips. Quite a lot. You need about 250 pip stop. That's about 25 US, that's about 400 Rand a micro. Just bear that in mind. And 400 Rand risk, you're talking about a 6 grand account. So you haven't got a 6 grand account, don't do it. Remember, if you've got a 6, 7, 8 grand account and you've got money tied up and you haven't got much free margin, leave it. Because when you go in, you've got to keep free margin. I don't care if you've got a 100 grand account. If you've got 2 and you go to another one, you've got about 500 Rand free margin. If you've got a 100 grand account, clearly position size will be larger. Doesn't take much noise to start margin calling. So absolutely make sure you've got enough free margin. Remember, to explain again what that margin is. It's just collateral from the lender, like any deposit. It's collateral for the lender. You take the collateral away, the lender will call in. You know, you've heard about the loans will be called in. That's not the worst at all. I disagree entirely. Thank God for the margin call. If it wasn't there, you could end up owing. There's been horror stories, all right, going back 30, 40 years ago, when they didn't have the margin calls. It was all done in good faith. And remember, in a leveraged product, so if you put, let's say, a 500 leverage down, that's a 2,000 Rand investment to control R1,000,000 Rand. Something drastic comes off, and the R1,000,000 Rand falls by 10%. 10% of R1,000,000 Rand is 100 grand. You owe now 98 grand. And that was the biggest fear in trading in the past. So thank God for the margin call. It's a forced stop loss, if you like. It's not nice, I agree with you. And it hurts you psychologically. It's not a pleasant thing to do. And what is closed out is always your biggest trade. And that can be the one you might want to keep. So avoid it by keeping free margin. And you get near the 80% margin level area, make sure you start either hedging or closing or doing something in that order. Otherwise, you will be margin called. But yeah, sounds crazy, but thank goodness for it. Because that means you're protected and owing money. It's one thing to lose your account. It's another thing you've got to cough out. And that's what happened to a lot of guys in the past. Remember Barings Bank? Nick Leeson, that 26-year-old trader in Singapore, he took big positions on the Nikkei, and the bank had to liquidate everything and close its doors. That was Barings Bank. And Queen used to use that bank. It's hell of a history. Had to close its doors to pay off that debt because it went right through his account. I'm trying to frighten you. I'm trying to say, yeah, it is protecting you. So it's not nice, but it's a lot better than the alternative. Yeah. Remember, you've only got $2,000 there on the market, but your exposure, you're controlling on a highly leveraged product, $1 million. That $1 million doesn't have to fall much by 2% if you're going long to make that $2,000 disappear. And this is the major problem. I think the world now, so many retail players out there not fully understanding the pros and cons of leverage are making it, certainly in the UK, Europe and America, where they're making law enforced, regulatory, lower levels of leverage. Because too many guys coming in are trying to use a higher leverage because then they think, I don't have to put in more money and get bigger positions and make bigger profit on a small amount. Obviously, it can come back and bite. Nothing wrong with a fast car, as long as you know what's involved and the risks and how to drive it. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Not trying to fry, just making you knowledgeably aware what's involved. Nothing wrong with driving a car. It's a fantastic thing to have. But if you don't know how dangerous it can be in the wrong hands, then you shouldn't be driving the car. Okay. Risk reward on the FTSE, yeah, sure. I think I'll put it up here. 7629. $7537. We always play around with it. Yeah, so there you are. Not a great risk reward, but it's actually not too bad. I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. It's only $70 a micro. Not too bad. No. And remember, you've got to prepare to, you know your volumes. So you go in eyes open with the risk reward, no problem at all. It's when you don't understand the mass of it, but it comes back and bites. Got too many clients there who are getting all sorts of different volumes in their positions, so fully haven't worked it out. So yeah, there you are. Call it 75 Rand a micro. So, what do you think, guys? Like it? Let's do a 4-hour. Yep, look at this, 15 minutes, seems to be on the way down a bit. Yeah, might get a pullback. Don't forget, once it gets to the profit, let's say 7560 or somebody, if it gets there, move your stop to entry and then you can relax and then follow it down. Okay, anyone want to do it? Okay, good enough, let's do it. Let's say, fall off a horse, get back on it. But if you got caught with that and came to the training after what we spoke about the fundies yesterday, well, I'm afraid to say, you know what I mean. Okay, 7591, 7629, what's that now? 7537. It comes off further. Don't forget, you can also, I forget that myself, modify your TP. Get more out of it. Okay, don't forget the strategy, modify stop. You can modify your TP and you can even cut your positions. If you've got, you can't cut one because it's micro, but if you've got more than one micro, you can even cut it, modify stop and let it run until eventually you cut everything and you're out. Okay. Okay, right, so that's fine. I looked at NGAS earlier on. I know it's boring, but still, I think it's a possibility of a trade here on NGAS, if you don't mind being a bit bored and the slowness of it. See an uptrend coming in there. I already had it out, use the same figures I had before, just moved across here. Right, see if you like this one. If you do, I'll send it out to everybody. 6.535. 534, 7.72. Write that down. Okay. No, we haven't. No, no problem at all. We're looking at it now. No problem. Okay. Right. NGAS. Remember, it is slow. You might be there for a week or two. Might not. You might. I don't know. I'm just saying from experience, it can be a bit slow. But come back and shout at me if it suddenly screams up and it's a TP in 5 minutes. But normally it's a bit on the slow side, but there you are. Anybody like NGAS? It's on support, upward trend, still in winter overseas in the Northern Hemisphere. They use it to keep heating going. So yeah. Yeah, anybody? Yes, no? Okay, good. I've got it written down. Give me a second because I've passed it through just now to the office. They like it, so I'm going to send it out to the guys. So you can think a little bit, look at it, put your positions in, write a couple of questions down, etc. Just give me a couple of minutes to just send it. Okay. Right, let's see. Okay, so that's all sorted. Okay, anyone in the group? I will have received that now. Obviously, you guys know the TR, so there we go. So get that out of the way because you've already got it by now. Okay, as mentioned before, if anyone's not on my QT WhatsApp group, a member if you like, where we send out daily updates and trading signals on a regular basis. Despite fundies, they haven't been too bad. The fundies can interfere with it, but I did post like modify stop loss things, which helps people out as well. Great benefit to you if you're trading, whether you're experienced or beginning or intermediate or whatever. So what is the actual downside? Well, there's a minimum balance required of 2,500 rand. So it's not, there's no cost to it. It's your money, it's your balance, but it must be over 2.5 grand. I just want to quickly explain again the reason why. I'm sorry, guys coming every day. It'll be a bit of a repetitive story, but I want to explain to you guys. The reason being is the abundance of signals sent out, you cannot trade on less than that. You don't have enough capital, and in the end, you try them all, and you're going to get margin calls. You need the capital to do the job. If you're undercapitalized, it's always going to be an uphill struggle. So to be a member, for your sake, never mind anyone else's, a minimum balance of 2.5 grand. If you have that, please WhatsApp me, and I will give you your full names and your real account number. I can then quickly go to the screen, check out it's all in order. I'll then WhatsApp you my contact details, and I'll also then upload you to the QT WhatsApp groups. Give me a moment again as I put that down for you. Don't forget WhatsApp. Get hell of a busy here, so I can't spend hours on the line, I'm sorry to say. Remember, I'm the only one really can handle all the advice scenario. Typing away and nothing's happening. Hang on. Good enough. So there you are. Don't forget, please don't say this is Joe. Joe means nothing to me. It's got to be Joe Blogs 171625 real account number or whatever, something like that. And then I'll check it. But if you haven't got 2.5, I'm sorry, I can't put you on there. Okay, but I think if you have, it'll be very useful. And you can always take some off if you want, but I think you'll find it very useful. See it at the bottom of the screen. Is it? I thought we'd discussed this morning, Mike. I thought it might get to 1,800 before coming off, but maybe not. Just currently, how much can we make in a month? It's impossible to say. I don't know if I'm asking some of you. I'm quite comfortable to answer it, Hilary. It's just impossible. The only way you can give an answer to that is at a fixed deposit or something like that in the bank, 5-6% of whatever the amount is. Okay, this one you can't. There's a lot of up and downs. You can have a brilliant month, the next one not so good. All I can say is what the pros look at. It's not me. It's the pros put out that on the consistent. You look at consistency. You're not trying to make 100% one week and blow the lot the next week. That's not consistent. But the pros say when you know what you're doing, you've got the right equipment, you've got a bit of knowledge, a couple of bucks or whatever, you should be looking at about 4% a month or 50% a year. Okay, that's what the pros do. If you obviously don't know what you're doing, well, it's not going to occur. But that is what's aimed at. And for any business that can sustain that kind of return, it's usually considered a successful business. Okay, I've done a heck of a lot more than that, I'll be honest, and I've done a little bit lower, but it's more or less what I aim at. And looking at the signals going out, if they're followed, modified, and done it properly and adhere to the discipline of trading, I know at the moment we're slightly ahead, in fact, quite a bit ahead of that. But I don't want to put out higher and then you're disappointed. So rather say, when I know what I'm doing, you should be looking about 50% a year. Okay. That's another brilliant point. You don't want to say that to a beginner because that's not what they want to hear. But Hilary actually just said it in a nutshell. Any honest person who's there trying to help you will say, the first year you're going to take some knocks because you're learning. It's as simple as that. Let's say you're a lawyer. Your first year in law, you're not going to be paid this, and you work a lot harder. The guy's been doing it for a little bit longer. Okay. So yeah, well, yeah, that's questionable, Sean. I don't do too badly out of it. But yeah, but the beauty is today, you've got the help to try and cut it down from spending like yourself, Sean, a year or so, finding your feet. If you go through the stuff and attend a couple of classes, have enough money to be on the WhatsApp group, come to the trading room, feed on other people's experience, you can speed that rate of learning up exponentially. In the past, it might have taken a year or so to start looking, you know what you're doing. But I've had guys coming in here, and after a month or so, we're starting to trade ideas. I mean, already, if you don't mind me embarrassing, Gerard, already, I don't know you've been here that long, and already you're sort of looking for stuff. That's not a bad idea or whatever. So it won't take a long time if you put the time to come to TR. If you miss the TR and you want to look at it, by the way, it's on the portal. Just scroll to the bottom and you'll see on social media, it's on YouTube recorded. So, you know, pick it up. So a lot of guys who picked it up in a couple of months ahead of other guys who been doing it longer simply because they haven't been making use of what's available to them in today's sort of internet age, if you like. Yeah, you certainly can, Jared, absolutely. But I mean, you're not going to do that every day. I'm trying to do it on the basis of consistency. I mean, you made 830 in a day. What's that? That's about 28% in a day. And I'm talking about 4% a month. But you're not going to do 20% every day. Nobody in the history of mankind will be a trillionaire within the year. Or maybe not a year, but not far longer. So you just got to say, when I have the good day, be circumspect to say, well, I lost 300 today, but I'm overall up 500 altogether. You get the idea. Oh yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. Even quicker than this is go to the casino, take your house and put it on red. Within 2 minutes, you made 100% return. If red comes up, that's the big if though. If it doesn't, you're homeless. So don't overexpose. If you're making horrendous profits, either fundy or you got lucky, or it just went well the trade. But I think a lot of the times the guys overexposed came right, that will come back and bite. That's why I'd rather say, you know, expect lower and achieve higher than we are too high, and then you're going to be fighting trying to achieve it, overexposing, going for trades that don't exist because you want to make that target, and then you get fed up afterwards. If you see what I mean. It's a psychological thing. Life is psychological, don't forget that. But we do on QT, Sean, we give you the tools. But whether you make use of them or not, of course, is entirely up to the individual. But the tools are there. Okay. Right, so NGAS is out, FTSE's out. I've been waffling away a little bit, but I think it's important stuff. But anyway, Hilary, going back to yourself, I hope I answered your question. I'm saying the parameters out there, but on a recorded line like this, and I said, don't worry, mate, you should make 20% a month, and you don't, you'll start complaining, and I'll get into trouble. You know what I mean? Very large amount of people do. Basically, I do. I mean, I enjoy the trading world, but I'm not totally dependent on it for an income. But a couple of things you need to understand if you want to do it. First of all, you need knowledge, common sense. You need the right tools, common sense. What's not so much common sense, you will need some experience. And you'll need character and you'll need discipline. Probably the discipline's the biggest of the lot. Okay, it's all very well coming to the trade room and getting the course and the rest of it. If you're not disciplined and you go in 10 units one day, 5 another, 20 the next, you're jumping all over the place, you can come back and bite. But if you're disciplined, get the knowledge, and then of course you have to have the capital. If you don't have the capital, you've got to build up the capital till you have enough that it can generate an income for you to make a living without being stressed. If you're undercapitalized, you'll continually be under stress. The rent's got to be paid, and then you start taking outlandish big positions. You're not relaxed, and that's when the wheels fall off. Okay. And please, I say it every time, try and get something for nothing idea out. This is a business like everything else, and try and treat it in a professional, disciplined way. And come and join us here. Use the experience there. As far as you're concerned, it's free, so you might as well make use of it. You know, you get a WhatsApp group, that sort of thing, make use of it. And then remember, when fundies come out, be careful, rather sit dry on it. Maybe you haven't made any money today, but rather that than you lose because you went in too big on a fundie that went the wrong way, that sort of thing. All right, very important. Thank you. If anyone's got a trade, like I said before, that takes absolute precedence. Okay, but in the meantime, I have no problem with that. This again, sorry to repeat again, this is not a training class at the Zoom class. Don't come here for free lessons. It's unfair the guys who paid for theirs. But clarification, no problem. Right, what I want you to do for the 10-day is the magenta. I like it, whether you like it or not, it's up to you. It's my personal choice and I quite like it. If you want it, there it is. The color, again, is your choice, but make sure you remember which is which. Okay, that's the 10-day simple moving average you like, your choice. A must is a strong word, but virtually very strongly suggest everybody has this thicker blue line or dark blue line, whatever color stands out. That is the 50-day simple, not exponential, simple moving average, and that's the 200. Now, some have 7, 21, 5, 24, 23 exponential. That's personal choice. Why is a 250, the 50 and the 201 so important? Simply because it's so universally used. Most traders have it, and so it becomes self-fulfilling. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense. So go and put them on. Once you put them on, two, in my opinion, is a must. But I can't say a must, but strongly suggest this is your choice, but I like it. Once you've done it, right-click on the chart, go to templates, and save the template. So if you lose it, you don't have to go and set it all up again. All you do then, once you save, if you lose the chart, just right-click, go to template, and pick the one you like. You've got one, obviously pick that one. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so. So you pick the one you like, and it comes back up again. Very important. Okay. Well, if you're a bit of an IT expert, you probably go more depth. Right. Okay, I'll go back, Hilary, what's happening here before we go on to the next slide chat thing. Remember, this is crossing. We call that the golden cross. I'm going to be honest, I don't take a lot of notice of that. Even on the shorter term ones, but on the longer term ones, it doesn't tell you a lot. What I use them for is 2 reasons: filtering and support resistance. And I try to keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, because it's about the, no, not necessary. So if it's above the blue and the brown line, it's in the strong zone, the neutral zone between the two, and the weak zone below. So you filtered already with looking for a sell or a buy and a sell or a buy. And then when you want to buy it, it comes back and tests like a support there, like the floor, if you like. If it bounces off the floor, you get in, but you don't buy at the floor because it might go through the floor to the room below. Hope that makes sense. Don't forget the same. Trying to move this down a little bit. Trading is not learned in a month, experience is gained with it. Yeah, you can learn trading, if you're a quick study, probably in a month easily. It's the experience, yeah. And the experience is really controlling, not controlling totally, but understanding discipline on the emotion side. And experience, you get a feeling for it, you get a feeling for stuff. That's why I hated these funnies come out. You know, all the feelings of the world, experience of the world, knowledge of the world. You don't know how it's going to turn out. Yeah, I agree with everything you said about baby steps, anything else, except one thing I disagree with: when you know for certain, you will never know for certain this market. Once you know for certain, you don't have a market anymore. Because every time you buy, you've got to find someone to sell it to you. And if everyone's 100%, that means why are you buying? Because you know it's going to go up. Well, then who the hell's going to sell it to you? Same sort of thing. Now that's the school fees, eh, Sean? Because it's a natural thing to do, because we all go in and we make it like a game. We don't have a strategy, it's an emotional game. We treat it like the casino, gambling's a bit of fun, and there's no strategy. It does, unfortunately, not work that way. But have a plan, it's boring, I know, but have a plan, unfortunately. Boring old discipline, effort, and plan, yeah. The thing that's the trouble is when you sell the dream. Reality, the dream to be a doctor and you're in your nice white coat and looking very important. Reality is a lot of study, a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline. So it's coming right, good, Sean. Yeah, and you need the capitals. Too many guys coming in, looks like fun. I'm fed up with my job. Yeah, I want to retire full time. Well, how much do you need to make a month to cover expenses and food and bit of spending money? 20 grand. how much you want to put in? They come up with like 20, 25 grand. Well, that's errant nonsense. You know, I mean, you're not going to make 100% a month. It's impossible. Well, you might 1 month, but I'm talking about on a sustainable basis. So you've got to think, have the capital as well. Okay, but we've given the tools and we're giving you free of charge the experience. And not to talk about me here, but the other guys, and they're all sharing it. So you've got valuable tools here, which guys didn't have in the past. So it's on your side if you're disciplined. It's not if you're not. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. So I went to a bit of depth there, Hilary, because what that question was so important. Didn't know that. The NAS is, looked last time, 9:18 is the time now. Oh, hang on. But that is moving, so the wrong thing. 10:09, yes it is. That's why I have the time up, because the Dow hadn't moved, or the NAS hasn't moved in 5 minutes. You know something's wrong somewhere, because it'll move in 5 minutes. Get it? No, that's the reason. Thank you, Hilary, for bringing it up. It's so important. Okay. So maybe something wrong with your side. I'm not looking at share. Share won't. No, it didn't say NAS. Well, it's moving this side. I've just shown you. So maybe you reboot your system or something. I don't know. If it's technical, I'm sure some youngsters on there who know their IT stuff. They'll help you out. They make this joke saying, if you're an old guy and you want to get a fancy new phone, what you should do is have a free teenager come with it. Yeah, the problem with that as well, Zeph, is if you're reading it wrong, is unfortunately the correct statement to make. The market is right and you're wrong if you lose out. You know what I mean? It's not the market's wrong and I'm right. And unfortunately, the market is where the price action goes. Rightly or wrongly, it's the way it goes. I might think that was an overreaction yesterday. Well, that's just my academic interest thoughts. Doesn't really mean anything, does it? Because that's what the market did. Okay. So sorry, you mentioned gold just now. In the big part. So I spent a bit of time what Hilary's question there, because I think it's a vital one. And I want to share it with you. Because there's too much BS and selling dreams and all that. I want to put a little bit of reality. I don't want to throw water on it, but if you want to make a lifestyle out of it and an income, you've got to have some reality check as well as all the fancy fun dreams. Okay, right, gold. I thought it might get to 1800. It might still do that around about the level here, the 200, which coincides with a round figure. Remember, support resistance is in the neutral between the two, like I mentioned, guys. 1800, if you got there, probably get to 1800, it's around figure. It's a psychological area of support resistance. Simply, it's psychological. No, nothing other than that around figure. So I discussed this more in the strategy room, and I thought it'd come off a little bit at 1780, but the others persuaded me it might go 1800. So I'll be honest, I cut and went onto the fence. I'm now beginning to think 1780 is going to hold. I think it might get a bit of a pullback. So we're going to put the stop. That's the big question. Should we put it above here? That's not too far away. I think we can. Trouble is, if you put it $23 stop, and I would say you're going to take it down to 1750, you're not going to get a risk reward. So if you want to take a risk on this one, you're going to have to take a tighter stop. Just like, okay, hang on a minute. My wife's been away for a while. Wonder where she's been now. I know where she's been with you, because my wife is exactly the same. Only one problem with that is I don't have a wife. I'm just kidding, clearly. But yeah, the wife's always right, always wrong. Okay, yeah, so we'll have to put a tighter stop. Maybe make it 1792, and then take it down to maybe 1750. It is an aggressive trade. Very thin ice. Oh, I didn't tell you I'm a polar bear, so I'm happy. Joking apart, though, do you want to do this? I'll put the R up if you like. But I want to reiterate, this is a highly aggressive one. So don't put your wife on it. your cats, your dogs, and your house on it, and your tickets to the Rugby World Cup on it. This is what I want from you guys. I want these questions. Thank you, Alexandros. Oh, hi. Yeah, I think I sent you. I think they're on my WhatsApp broadcast. Hi, Alexandra. I have to get hold of you at work. I remember you telling me. Okay. Everyone must have this position size calculator. Right. The question is, where do you get it? Very simple. Go to the live chat. It's on the portal, on the Quick Trade website, SMC website, and go to technical support. And only for a laptop, not for a phone. On a phone, if you want one, then you'll have to go to the App Store. Okay. But the phone to me is really just a backup. If you're mobile, away from the computer for a while, you can modify, enter, or whatever, without having to go back and drive back to get your computer up, basically. Just a backup, if you like. But just go to the live chat, and there you'll find it on tech support, and whoever's on tech support will help you out there. Have your laptop open and ready to rock and roll. Okay. But everyone must have it. It's a trading room rule. Don't have it, get it. Because Alexandros and anyone beginning their trading journey, by far, 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 the biggest problem people encounter is emotions, lack of discipline, and incorrect volumes. Incorrect volumes, either under or overexposed. If you say so, I'll be honest, to me, I shouldn't really say it, so I'm going to admit it. I haven't a clue about Apple, never used it. I don't know if what you call here, Clinton's here. He uses Apple. He's the guy to go to on Apple. I haven't got a clue. You see a bar, not height. There's an expectation of a hike coming in of very, 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 almost 100%. I cannot say 100%. So I'll say 99.99% will be an interest rate hike by the US Fed in December. Forget which date it is, but halfway through December, it was just before Christmas. There'll be an interest rate hike. I can't, 99.9%, there you are. The question was, going to be 75 basis points or 50? And information coming out of what the Powell said, who's the chairman of the Fed. He said we're a little bit on track, which the market took to mean it won't be 75, it'll be only a 0.5% rise. That's why instead of 75, only 50, weakened the dollar and the market shut up, including gold. Now, it's settled down now. So the next thing coming on the rise is the non-farms tomorrow. And if the non-farms are inflationary, they probably think that Powell revert back to 75 basis points. And then that will be a strength of the dollar and gold will fall off. That will be a fundamental. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Don't sit in there for a long one. Modify your stop if you want to do it. And then if you stop now, so be it. If you're not, it goes in the right direction. Modify, and then you made a couple of bucks. Okay, hope that's all clear. Well, that W there actually indicates a bit of a pullback. We'll see. But that takes a lot of things. Don't forget the funders we all learned yesterday. Well, some of you learnt. Most of you probably would have known if you experienced. That will overcome any technicals. Okay. Technicals just rely on what the buyers and sellers have done in the past. What we're going to do next time around is another story, and then a lot of emotion fly in. Just be careful of that. And even though you're disciplined, it means all the other guys do some funny things. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. My main thing getting across to guys, get the concept, not the parrot fashion learning stuff. You can study that in your own time, just get the overall concept. Okay, thank you. Now what? Okay, so I have to stop. It's got a little bit closer to get a risk reward. And I don't want to take below 1750. I think it's got something got to happen before that occurs. There you are, 27 bucks a micro. Why is it only 27 around the micro compared to the others? Because remember, guys, go to gold, because we're using gold, right click and go to specification. The contract size is 10, exactly the same contract size as, let's say, the Dow. The difference is this is 1770, the Dow's 34,000. Great disparity in the number, if you like. So that's why 1 micro here is chicken feed, peanuts. So remember, that's how you work it out. And I think everyone can do the maths now. So if you want to risk 270, obviously you do 10 micros, 0.01's a micro, you'll do 1 mini, etc. So put down what you're prepared to risk, divide that 27 into it, and that will give you the amount of micros. So it's as simple as that. That is basic arithmetic. That was yesterday. Apparently it's been solved. Anne-Marie's there. She went for a bigger position, so you can. Gerard was on the ball there. He didn't want to wait around to get solved. He wanted to go in. He took 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I figure that's actually quite a good idea. But he got solved, so that's sorted now. Can't do anything at the moment, clearly, because it's closed. Okay. And he was doing just fine. He just popped up for the funding, but didn't pop up that much. Still in it, so maybe we'll come off tonight. I think 12,000 now is going to hold. It might be a bit quiet, depending on the fundies, but we might get a pullback. But be careful of Friday, 3:30, don't forget. Okay, right, so there it is. Can't get it down now. Just it down. Okay, so if you want to do it, there we got it. Give you a moment or two to do that if you want it. Not sure direct that about the capital, Sean, but we'll clearly need capital as well now. It does it actually. It took a bit of time, but it seems to still knock this off now. I think you all got it. It took a bit of time, and then it seems to be sort of panning out a bit further downside. Yeah. Good example what happened there. Click the wrong button, no panic, right click. I'm glad that happened, so I can show you what I mean. Go to templates. What do I do? I'll find this one here. Look at this one. Yeah, there we are. Trade history out there. I don't like it there. Okay, there, back in business. Yeah, see me coming in. Gold is going short. That's good news. Took forever though, but now it's coming right now. Okay, right. FTSE's bounced. What's the NAS doing? Let's have a look. I'm waiting for a break below 12,000. It's going to occur or not. See, we try to come off. Look at the 15-minute. It's trying to come off. All these work on all charts. That's the 15-minute charts. That's 50 times 15, don't forget. It's only the 50-day on the day chart, 50-week, 50 months to get the idea. See, even that held a little bit. I think it's going to break through there. We'll see. Go back to the daily. So what was that one you wanted to look at? FTSE, that's right. EF. There we are. 7591. That's coming off. It's all right. Yeah, just coming off. Not much, but it's come off. That's the main thing. NGAS. Is NGAS coming off? Quick check. So slow, probably not worth checking, but have a look. Come off a couple of cents, but not much happening there. Okay. Right. Yeah, it's gold's, yeah, it's coming off a bit. Already, it's the spread's been covered. We're in profit. Got in at supporting this 1777 and a few cents change. So it's coming off a little bit. So yeah, looking good for the moment at least. Okay. Well, no, LEV was just, I'll look at that if you like. It was doing okay. It just jumped up on the fundamentals. The stock market carried up on what Powell said. Doesn't matter what you're in. The whole lot was just carried. LM and go the right way there. So it was doing okay. It was coming off, and then Adishmi started speaking. And he had that hint about when we know. I'm not repeating all that again. It jumped up. Okay. So will that hold? I think a good chance of it. If 12,000 breaks on the NAS, I know this LUV is not part of the NAS, but Dow and S&P should follow it, or vice versa. Some panic. Hopefully, it'll be all right in opening. Okay. Brent did okay. Did a nice one with that. Brent, some guy just stopped out by modifying to 86.50. Those are on a member of my QT group. If they decide to follow that recommendation, modify to 86.50, they might have been stopped out. If not, well, you're still doing okay. But whatever you do, make sure you don't leave your stock in a negative. Keep in a profit. So if something goes wrong, you still make money on it. Don't forget. These are things you can fix. Whether that goes to 87 or 85, nobody in the world knows. We'll have to see what happens. That's a variable. The other stuff we can't control. No, I don't think so, no. To be honest, finally, I'm not keen, no. I think that ship sailed. Might get back up to 90 or more, but it might come back again. I'm not sure I'll be chasing it now. Remember, to chase it now, to have a proper stop, you'd have to have it down here. So correct place. So you can be talking the correct place to put it. You're talking about $6 on, a little bit over $6. So you're looking at least $10. It's got to go up to. Where's $10 on this? Yeah, you're going to look about that level there. Is it going to get back to $100? I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. So I personally wouldn't go for Brent now. Okay, wait, good enough. Right, I've been looking at this and looking at this. I really want to do this one. I really want to do this one. I was wondering maybe I should be patient, talk, just lecturing you on being disciplined. Now I'm probably going to be a bit indisciplined because I thought that would be an ideal bounce from there to buy it. But I'm wondering. If this is only about 50 pips away, put the stop below. I wouldn't have a problem going in now just in case it can come off. But the stop should go there to be safe. We're talking there 150 pips. That's $15 or about 280 Rand a micro. If you're happy with that, maybe we can have a look at it. If you're not happy with that, then maybe, well, got to put a tighter stop, which is going to be a little bit on the risky side. It's not out of the question. That's sort of 4 hour. Maybe below the day. It's going to be too tight. Yeah, that's not too bad. If you want to do an aggressive trade, maybe a little bit below 101, maybe 190 or something, 100.90. If it comes back, it usually bounces off the figure. That's only 88 pips away, and then take it back up. John, yes, I do, to be honest, Sean. I do. Why? I just think the thing's oversold. It's not a bad economy, resource-driven, manufacturing. I think because it's next door neighbor, they've just gone in the same direction as the States and added like sort of sympathy, like the neighbor following the other neighbor. I just don't think two different economies. I don't know why they're following the States so much. I just think the Canadian dollar is oversold. So I see upside, but I saw upside at 103. I saw upside at 102. Which make a bit nervous, but it's, you know, I mean, it's range trading over the last couple of days. Stop below here. I think it's a good chance of recovery back up there. Right, a long term, starting to move up on the 200, but clearly an uptrend on the 50. Maybe put a fib in might help. Put a fib in from here. No, it tell you anything, does it? No, to answer your question, that's what I feel. I don't know about you. Japan's unpredictable at the moment because it's don't know where it's getting its strength from. But yeah. What do you think? Does anyone quite like it? Don't get reasonably aggressive, but I think upside. And I've missed it a couple of times when it took off. What's the feeling there? I'm inclined to go for it. personally. If you're not sure, you're very, very nervous, and Matt buy makes you nervous, don't do it. Yeah. Right, guys, suggest you don't do it. If Rambo's afraid, what chance have we got? Okay, so we'll leave it then. Okay, that's fair enough. I think, to be honest, I think it's one that was overbought, and it's in other words, is undervalued. And I think a lot of it to do is what's the other side of the yen. But I think it was a bit undervalued, 150 $1. Think of that. And backroom dealings, so actually. Yeah, no doubt there's backroom dealings probably as well, yeah. Okay, yeah, so if you want to leave the CAD, we'll do it. If you want to come back, we can. That's what I'm saying, John. One, I think, was undervalued, and the other happens to the Canadian and the dollar and the others, yeah. More than the yen itself. Yeah, those two reasons. That's what I think anyway. The backroom dealing maybe as well. I'm sure about that. Okay, if you don't do it, the other one I'm looking for, again, I'm trying to sell the yen again, is a buy on this one. We had a great trade out in it a couple of so days ago, and modified stop loss. We did very well, and we got kicked out in a very nice profitable stop. Now it's going to trace nicely. We should all be out of that with a profit. I'm saying there's a good chance of here maybe having another bite of the apple. Okay, so if you think that the yen's now start to be a bit, we want to sell the yen, it's a bit overvalued instead of undervalued. Let's get it the right way around. And the Swissy, I think, is, you know, it's okay. What do you think? It's in a neutral zone. You can buy or sell it between the two moving averages. I personally think there's a bit of upside here. Yeah. That's exactly what I think, John. Okay. Anyone like the look of this one? As a buyer, not as a sell. If you want to sell, tell me. But I think some upside here. And the Swiss is a bit more stable than the Canadian as well, which I like. Yeah, I'm very good. We've got to be careful what I say, Sean, but off the recorded session, I agree with you. That worries me. If it makes Rambo nervous, the yen, say what hope have we got? Okay, thanks very much for your input, Hilary. A couple of points you brought up were invaluable to assist other people. Thanks. Hope we can have you back again soon. So again, we're all a bit nervous after the Powell yesterday. And that's the effect it had. What happened to Powell come up with other stuff? It all gone right. You're probably a bit gung-ho today and gone for everything that's written down. Like the Terminator. You're not going to believe this. I've never seen a Schwarzenegger film. Never, not one. Not particular reason, not like or dislike. Never seen it. Heard of it, never seen it. Like it's some sort of android or something, I believe. Does that mean WTF means you want to go for it? Or you mean, I've never seen a Terminator. How can you possibly get through life without it? Which one do you mean? The movie, okay. Yeah, never seen it, yeah. It's like guys who've never seen Dirty Dancing. Maybe the younger ones will know what I'm talking about, but that came out, I think it was in the 90s, and it was by far the most bottoms on seats of all filmed in South African history. There's guys that, not whether you've seen Dirty Dancing or not, is how many times you've seen it. Yeah, but I hear on the currency strength meter, Mike, but remember that's because the indicators obviously produce that direction. If look at the yen, it's been stronger. You look from there to there. So currency indicators will say, hang on, that yen is strong. I'm saying, are we going to look for a turning point? Yeah, that's why I hope you've copied and pasted my economic calendar. Keep an eye on it. Chairman of the board speaks, be careful. president of the ECB as Lagarde. That's okay. Not that big a deal, to be honest. Sorry, Mrs. Lagarde. But when Powell speaks, it's a serious deal. That's why I said to the guys on my WhatsApp, please modify stops to protect if you're in a US dollar position, because anything could happen. And it turned out, I think they got out of jail because of that. Okay, so we want to leave the Japanese yen. Am I correct? Nobody wants to do it. Well, I'm not pushing it, but I think there's a chance of some upside. I think Swiss is a bit more stable. There's more chance on this one. That's all the 4 hour. Not really got a confirmation, have we? Maybe leave it, yeah, because it's gone up and it's come back down again. We haven't really got even 1 hour confirmation yet. Maybe leave it, but I think some upside. I'm starting to lose faith in this one. I didn't like that hour candle, but I'll put one up anyway and have a look. Make it just below the round figure. 133, 43.9. Pretty too close, probably. Make it 80. There we are. Take it up to maybe here, 146.75. Okay, I'll bring it down a bit more. Out the way of this guy here. Up there. So last time at this level here was, when was this now? 6th of September, will be now January, back December, 3 months ago. So it's not a bad area to put the stop. Still got a great risk reward, 140 bucks a life. My main one, looking at hourly charts, we haven't even had 1 hour confirmation yet. 15 minutes is a bit too short a term, that's all. So we haven't had a confirmation on the 15 minutes. I still quite like it. I have to be honest, I quite like it. I just need to be led by an officer of the Special Air Services. The SAS. If in doubt, stay out. But anyone like it? Or should we give it a miss? I quite like it, to be honest. I'm afraid I see a bounce, yeah. But be careful to say, we'll stop pushing you into it, because Roger said he comes back and bites, and you'll be throwing custard pies at me. But I'm leaning towards it again on this one. About an hour. What do you reckon? Should we do it? A little bit of a push as well. What do you reckon? Well, if you want 001, yeah. If you want to risk 150 bucks, yeah. If you've got 20 grand in your account or 50, it's not either do it or don't do it. It's not much point. Anne-Marie's got sounds like sensible there. Maybe she's being sensible. I'm getting the impression we're not too sure. Okay, Cody is quite comfortable in it. Okay. Anyone going to be decisive? John Keone on a yes. Yeah, to play the non-funds, okay. Okay. Anyone want to join Keone? I'm happy to do it, but I don't count me. I'm on the 2 guys out there. Got one, anybody else? Ah, Lorenzo, great to have you back. Okay, we're doing 144.50. 143.38. 146.75. Yeah, and we all did. Well, should have done, yeah. If you didn't move your stop after being 150 pips in profit and Powell came back and stopped you out, can't blame Powell for that one. Okay, a couple of people, I'll put it down, we'll come back and check it later. Okay, right, I'll knock that off. Okay, get it out of the way. If it breaks 150, I'll go in. If it breaks 160, I'm very cautious. If it breaks 160, I'll go in. Or comes back to 100, I'll buy it. How's that? Okay, 145, fair enough. Right, FTSE, so a quick check on the FTSE. That's where to start the day ahead. Whose idea was that? Forgotten who idea was it? I put the name down. Maybe he's left. Remember who suggests the FTSE because it's doing okay. Was it you, John? Who recommended the FTSE? I want to put the name down just so we can, if it does well, to do well at the moment, give a pat on the back. And we have some virtual custard pies with that. Well, I've got it down as 91. It was you. Okay, great job. Yeah, got it down to 91, so it's doing okay. 10 pips or so in profit. Good. NGAS, is that doing bugger all as usual? Come off a few cents, not much, but anyway, so good. Right. Well, hold on to it then. Well, I don't know, Hank's a long way away. I hope you come right. I don't know what to say. You should have a stop in. If you've still got a stop in your position size, right, it doesn't matter because you're protected. If you went in there, no stop, well, then you're just holding on off chance. It's not the right way to trade. Good. Gold, that's the other one, wasn't it? Gold. Popped back up to break even. Oh, well. Dollars moved a little bit north, so maybe we'll come right on this one. Okay, NZDCHF is one we've had for a while. What did we get in on that one? Check that again. A couple of days, that was on 29th, 2 days ago. It's like a long time, it's only 2 days ago. 59, how old is it now? 21. I know it's not doing too well now, is it? Well, it's not stopped out. 0.6 to stop, we might come right. One of that, today it's a bit of a day after the night before, isn't it? Hangover day, hey? Hangover Powell day. Oh, that's fine, Sean, you're right. Because too many guys don't want to take the loss, they don't have a stop, hope it's going to recover, and then they can't trade because all the money's tied up waiting for it to come right. Euro, US dollar. I'm scared to buy it. It's in the buy zone. I don't know, leave it. Someone mentioned the GBP. It's a bit of a cook there, actually. Yeah. I think, hey, Zeph, I think it's going to get there. I think it's going to get there. And I think it's going to hold and then it's going to come back. I think there's a very good chance of a short coming up against the 200. Put my neck out on that one. So keep an eye on that. Write it down to remind for later on. AUD USD. As I'm doing that, a few new guys there. You've all got the 200, the 50-day moving averages, got the chart set up, specifications. You've all got the economic calendar. If you want a heat map, I can give it to you. And the DXY, those two are must. DXY and the economic calendar. If you want a heat map, you can certainly copy and paste you want it, unless you got your own. No, I didn't finish strong at all, in my opinion, Coney. The dollar was weak. Don't think Aussie dollar had much to do with it. It's like a seesaw. I'm sitting opposite side of you, we're equal weight, or I'm slightly heavier, and one of my big fat mates comes along and sits on my side, it's more me than you, me shooting down and you by left will go up. And not a lot about the Aussie, it's all about pound and dollar and interest rates. If you want to buy it up there, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not even sure about a sell either. I'm more sure about an LIA. That's trading room speak for leave it alone. I think it was stopped out actually. Anyway, it's doing actually quite well. It's just not quite well. It was doing sort of leading into okay until Powell stepped in and stuffed the system up. Yeah, if you want to buy the Canadian, I think it's better guys to buy against than the Swiss. The Swiss is quite strong. But I see where you're coming from because it's right down there, but I'm not too sure about that. Sell zone below the 10. Canadians, I think it's going to gather a bit of strength. I do agree on that. The Swiss is pretty strong. I'm not keen. I'd rather short the rally on this still. Short the rally at the 10-day. And let's have a look. Let's have a look at the shorter term. Are we getting no? See, look at that indecision. It's not going any follow through. Look at that. Went up. Sellers came pouring in on the hourly. I personally wouldn't go for the card. Anyone disagree with me? Anyone think it's good for a buy? It is. I'm going to be honest, guys. Thanks, Anna Marie. I'm going to be honest, guys. When you have this amount of fundamentals crammed in over these couple of days, it does make trading more difficult. It's as simple as that. It's a bit quieter next week, as far as I know, so it might be easier. But it does. When you got these like non-farms and Powell speaking and all the other stuff, it does make it difficult. Because that's whatever tech you come up with. That's that big fear hanging over your head of what's going to come out next on the fundamental side. That's the only problem. So I spent some time chatting about various stuff here to try and make it give some value on what we're doing here to just not experience, but the new guys and everybody. Okay. Leave it alone. Okay, John. Good. Okay. Right. What's the time now? I've got a few minutes left. Right. I think ask the floor there. Alexandros or anybody out there? Brady, some new names there. Any questions you'd like to ask that might help your trading journey, as I call it? Anybody, not just those guys, I'm just saying anybody, but yeah. Any sort of basics you'd just want to cover? Because we need to get the basics in order. Get your position size and for goodness sake, get the volumes right. Yeah. Well, as they say, the first one is the most difficult. The second one's the easy one. How do you determine the period to trade in? I'm not totally sure what you mean by that. So I'll take a flyer what I do. Oh, good. Okay. Step one, buy ask. Yeah, absolutely. I do my strategy on the day. Some do it on the 4, some might do it in the week. I do all of them. Doesn't matter if it's NASDAQ or it's a share. Some do share week, NASDAQ 4, Forex day. I don't know about that. I just stick on the daily. So I do the daily and then I go and confirm anything else getting in the way on the weekly or the 4 hours to check it out. But I do my immediate look on the daily. Okay. I try and keep the chart simple, not cluttered with all sorts of stuff that can actually add to the confusion rather than assist me. And yeah, unless you're saying how long to be in a trade, that's impossible. You might be in there an hour, you might be in there a week, sometimes even longer, depending on the volatility of the market. It's gone, what happened? Unless you put, I've done that myself, actually quite recently in July, actually, I remember it well. I put the stop in the CAD JPY at 10 pips instead of 110 pips away. And somebody said you've been stopped out. I couldn't get stopped out. came back and I looked to put my stop in. For instance, I put it instead of 143.40, I put like 130, 44.40. Of course, it got stopped out in the noise and it went in the right direction. I was fed up. Maybe put the stop in the wrong place. And don't forget, do not get margin called. And we're not getting margin called, is not going too big. And make sure, even if you go in the right volume, make sure you got a reasonable amount of free margin. I can't give you figures. It just depends on your account size, but keep some free margin. If you've got 1,000 in your account, maybe you need about 250 Rand. Don't get more than 750 on the market. That's why we've got 500. You only get one trade at 0.01. The limitation is extreme. You only get one trade at a time. You get 3 out, you've got to pick one. And you must keep free margin. Current feel on the Dow. I think it's also overcooked a bit. So if you get a move like that, you usually get a bit of profit taking, bit of a pullback, bit of consolidation at the moment. Yeah. Is it dipped below 12,000 yet? Trying to dip below 12. See if we can dip below 12 on the NAS. Yeah. Probably incorrect stop loss. Put it, 143 instead of 144, 142, whatever. I don't know. Clearly should have been stopped out because it's hasn't really moved much. Sean, I see downside, but I think it's a possibility of downside in this one. Yeah. I put the stop at 12.2, out the way up there, 12.2. Take it back down to here. Maybe take it back down here, or even down to here. But then again, non-farms just screw the whole system up. But it moves quite quick. You might be out before you hit any fundamental problems, as they say. But I think there's a good chance of a bit of downside here. It might go a bit sideways, but I think I see some downside, yeah. And the down, yeah. If you hate the NAS, leave it alone. Hey, Sean, it's like a beautiful woman, eh? Sexy but dangerous. Or like a handsome man. Get it fair. This is why my GF is a solid 6. Oh, a girlfriend, sorry. Yeah. He could be a hero one day and a 0 the next day. Poor old pal, yeah. But yeah, okay, there's a NAS, 200 pip stop if you want to do it. I don't like the trading room idea particularly because not enough people have the time to do that or don't have the knowledge to do it. So try and discourage you guys getting cute with it. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah. Stop loss. I had my stop loss at just below break even, so I came out of jail on that one on my short there. I was tempted to take it actually when I had about 50 odd pips up, but I thought, well, hang on, I got my stop. If I get stopped out, I'll make a couple of bucks. And if PAL comes right for me, I'll make a big killing. And it turned around, I didn't lose, but I missed out on a big killing on it. Okay, Sean, you're going for self. By the way, Sean, are you on my WhatsApp group? I thought you would be, yeah. Is Solly here? Because he asked me to put it on, and I got Solly, and that was it. I couldn't find his. I had a few Sollys, and which one he was, so I couldn't put it on. If he comes on this afternoon, I'll ask him again. Go. Thought you were, yeah, because you commented on it yesterday. Sorry, Sean, yeah. Yeah, well, if you can do the NAS, might as well do the S&P. I prefer to look at that because it's not quite as hectic as the other one. Technical damage is done though. It's in the buy zone. That's my only worry. Try and find an excuse. Found my excuse. It's the neutral zone. So if you're going to use the, well, where's the 200 on there? So maybe you can use this as an excuse to go in. I don't want to buy it. Yeah, we can do it. I'll use the weekly chart. Put it above the last high there, which was back in September, 3 months ago. There we are, but about 100 pips stop. Quite like it actually, yeah. But see, none of you should have lost on that. If you lost an S&P, you're either not in my group, or you went in the trading room, etc., or you decided not to modify. You shouldn't have lost on it. That 2, 3, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, decent risk reward, and not too ambitious for the TP. 170 bucks. Well, that's affordable to most. Unlike the NAS, which is about 350. Random micros is 170. Yeah, to be honest, funny, yeah. What do you think, guys? And if it's in profit before the non-farms tomorrow, because we'll go Friday afternoon session, for goodness sake, get your stop so you can't lose on it by putting it at least better than entry. And then if the non-farms stuff the system up, you won't make much money, but you won't lose. And if it does not stuff the system up, you'll make a nice Friday present. Wow, Anne-Marie's in. Don't know what Anne-Marie, something about you makes me feel a bit more comfortable about it now. I haven't even met you. You've got this sort of steady influence on the ether for me. So that's actually, to me, that counts as 2 positives. Sorry, guys, but Anne-Marie counts as 2. Well, that's me convinced then. Embarrass the poor lady. Just kind of strikes me as sensible. 4071, 4070, 3834. Yeah. Can't have a world full of Rambos, you know, but have some people with their feet on the ground a bit as well to steady the ship, as they say. Right. Who came up with this idea? Because I quite like it. Someone just mentioned it. I want to get credit where credit's due. Farming. I think it's you in it. Fine. Put down farming. S&P. So let's see if this comes right. John with the FTSE, myself the NGAF, and S&P farming. I think it's so. Good. So that's why it's very important, guys, because you need to come up with stuff as well. Because I found, if you look back to trades in the trading room, I'm probably account for maybe 50%, maybe 60, but maybe even less, but a heck of a lot not from myself. Okay, CFJP, I'll put down as me, one of the guys here. Okay, there we are. Good enough. Okay, before we close up, you all got that? I'll see a quick recap, see what's happening out there. You've all got the stuff there. See you later going to trade. I like Anne-Marie. Be careful, get addicted, my friend. The day you can't trade, you get withdrawal effects. Look, 87 the Brent, okay. CHF-JPY, about breaking even, I think. Yeah, about the same. Golding's popped up a bit, actually. Yeah, it's about even Stevens. FTSE, FTSE. Around about break even, slightly in profit, not much. It's fine. Make you nervous, is it? Well, you got your stop, you got position size, right? Sure. I've got nerves a few things that turned out to be pretty good, so just keep my fingers crossed on that. And yeah, okay, that's fine. That's not a big one. Oh, 0.1 is a decent sized one. Okay. What's your surname, Sean? Redacted. That's an interesting surname. Okay, no problem. Yeah. So I think I've got you down as Sean, I think, without your proper full name in there. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Still happy with the trade. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank goodness that me down. Wonder why that is. Okay, thanks, Ed. Okay, guys. Hope you learned a little bit. It's been a bit sort of a lackluster session simply because of Powell hangover, but maybe we'll pick up and have a look at something later on. Some of those fundies will be out by 4 o'clock, and then we can have another look at stuff then. Hope you can join me then, and catch you later, alligators. Okay, cheers, guys. Thank you. Oh, Shifra, hi. You're in. Good stuff. So that works out. Thank you very much, Sean. Right, let's get the share. Thank you very much. Okay, catch you this afternoon, those who can make it.